Last part is, what are the key elements of computerized adaptive testing? Yeah, I have discussed so many good things, but what are the key elements? Basic elements. Basic elements in CAT. If I ask you, then the first thing, which is the most important thing, is item selection algorithm, right? You need to have algorithm to select items sequentially. And then you need to have scoring algorithm because you need to calculate the student's ability sequentially. And once you get more information, then you need to calculate again. Each time the new information comes, you need to calculate again. You need to search algorithm. And also we need to have a real-time difficult adjustment because we need to determine how much more difficult, how much more easier, right? It's not that more difficult, more easier, how much more? And we'll have something like this kind of algorithm. And more specifically, we need item pool. We need to item bank. The item bank should consist with many items. And then we need to know how to start, right? Starting point. And then how to continue. We use item selection algorithm. Then we need to score the students. And then when to stop, because you cannot ask a student to take exams forever. You need to stop somewhere. Just like the diagram, I show you the plot, the two students taking exam. So when you see the difficulty level remain almost the same, the change getting smaller, then it's time for us to stop, something like that. Okay, here is the diagram. We have item bank, we have initial stage. You can have a best guess on the student's ability level. And then from that ability level, you select items. And then you need to check, should we stop? If no, then you need to select item again, estimation again, select item again, estimate again, until you have met stopping criterion, then you stop. When you stop, you need to re-estimate the data, the final data estimation. So this is the basic, very fundamental components design in computerized adaptive testing. Are there any disadvantages of CAT compared with the linear form? Yeah, why? It's so complicated. You have to learn measurement theory. You need to learn programming. You need to deal with these constraints to prevent the cheating, to all kinds of things. However, that's the reason we need to have this class and to get to know, how can we overcome this difficult work? Because artificial intelligence, is our future, right? Can help us. But artificial intelligence is not a black box. We need to dive into the black box to understand this design and features so that we can better master the application. We have item bank. Well, you have to write many items cause challenging for the teachers. However, remember, these item bank, we are, as a teacher, we are writing items almost every week. And then we also have some previously written items, previously tested items. And all these items can be managed into item bank to label, to give the parameter estimation. And nowadays, just like many big universities, like a STEM class, like Introduction to Physics, if you ask, the head teachers how many items they have already had, if somebody is telling you 1,000, we're not surprised. Every big class, they have hundreds, thousands of items. All these items can be reorganized into the item bank. And we need to have item for maintenance, because sometimes we need to retitle an item if the item, the content becomes not updated, or if everyone knows this item, how to answer this item, then this item should be eliminated. And also we need to control many security issues like test overlap or item overlap. Item overlap means the proportion of those students who see the item divided by the total examinee. For example, if you have 500 examinee to take the test, then how many of the 500 examinee can see the item? So this is called exposure calculation. All these, we need to take consideration. And then, in some exam, nowadays, some CAT will not allow the student to change the answer. So if something like, if you answered, you turn the next, they cannot go back. Then there are so many new development. And actually, in our current research, we should let students change anything before they turn the examinations. Okay, so that means not only I will introduce the past, but also I will give you the most updated information about research. The learning outcome about this class should be able to examine the history development of computerized adaptive testing and examine the psychometric foundation, and also investigate variety of CAT application. And also we investigate the role of CAT in creating personalized learning paths. That I should emphasize all, but the number 4, I believe, is my new research interest. Okay, so in the future, so if you are not satisfied with all these, you can, can always be a foundation. Then you can take more classes, you can even do programming, or you can work with some good programmer and to make your computerized adaptive testing design. I believe in the future, there will be many free tools, like item bank development, item selection, they will be available, publicly, free of charge. I believe so. And for this specific module, we need to be able to distinguish CAT from linear test methods. The second is we need to be able to evaluate the advantage and disadvantage of using CAT in education setting. Also, the third one is identify key elements for constructing an effective CAT and propose its application classroom assessment. Okay, so I will end today's class. We'll see you next time.